but I just had to go take this trip. You know, I was invited to go. I've been invited many times by Michael Yon, who is just an extraordinary individual. If you don't know Michael Yon, look into his background, but this guy was the penultimate premier war correspondent of our era, going to places hardly anybody else would. I mean, firefights up there with his camera, worst possible places you could go in the world. Been there, done that. He understands warfare really well, both from a kinetic standpoint, but more importantly, that war is an information war, mostly. He understands it. Like he sees it, smells it. His instincts are extraordinary. So Michael and I have been good friends for a while. We talk by the phone all the time. And I'm going to get him on the show more and more because you need to learn from this guy. He's amazing. And he had been inviting me down, and listen, I'm always so busy doing what I do, being your information scout, figuring out what's going on in the world, running Peak Prosperity. It's been a full-time job, plus, you know, farming and other things too. So with all of that, I just couldn't quite find the time. And this time, well, there was a little extra seasoning on the request, which was that Jordan Peterson was going to be coming down and Brett Weinstein. Jordan ended up dropping out, but Brett was going to be there. And even then I was like, and then Brett started taunting me with texts going, Chris, tent making bats, you know, and I didn't know this, but until Brett told me, but Panama is where he did his PhD. He's spent 18 months down there working on his evolutionary biology stuff and his dissertation, all of that. So he knew a lot about the area. So the chance to go with Brett, that sealed the deal. So, well, let's talk about this then. So Panama with Brett and Michael and others. So day one, I arrive, I get picked up at the airport, boom, 3 hours in the car. We head south and we go to Darién, which I've misspelled. I think that's an A at the end, Darién, not Darién. Getting an SUV. They got Chuck Holton there driving. Michael's in the back. We drive on down, and this is kind of what it looks like as we're driving down. And we drove all the way down from up there, you know, to the way up off top left there would be where Panama City is and where the airport is. And then we drove all the way down into Darien Gap, which is that part in yellow down there. And wow, you want to go someplace which has some of the last formerly unmolested jungle. Now that they've had a million people walk through it, little less than unmolested. But just to give you an orientation, we're at the far southern end of Panama. And by the way, that whole thing wraps around. I was really surprised to find that first I flew out of Hartford straight south to Miami. It's just straight south. And then from Miami, you fly straight south to Panama. It's like almost dead south. There's like the whole Central America thing wraps over so far. It's just like you end up right there. So straight south. So that's the Darien Gap, and it is on the far southern eastern edge of Panama, and it butts up against Colombia there. So you got the Gulf of Darien up on one side. Well, they've spelled it E-N on there. I guess you can spell it both ways. So the Caribbean Sea up there on one side, the Pacific on the other side. By the way, I got to go back to Panama someday just to get on the Pacific side for snorkeling, diving, fishing, being around. It looked extraordinary. Just didn't have a chance on this trip to do anything like that. All business. And then we slept at a hotel, very nice, $35 a night. It's kind of a good news, bad news hotel. Good news, it had a shower. Bad news, no shower head. Good news, a lot of water pressure. Bad news, no hot water. So it was one of those deals. But anyway, slept there, woke up the next morning bright and early, drove down a road that looked like this, and eventually we got to a point where there weren't even electric poles. And when we were going to go towards a camp out there, Canaan Membrillo. That's where we were going towards. So if you can see it, let me see if I can put this up. I'll do a laser pointer. We were going up in here, up to here. Now the road comes down about like this. And then, so we had to get out, take a little dirt road and take that dirt road all the way to the bitter end here. Still power poles. All the way to the bitter end here. It looks like this when we're pulling in. There's some ramshackle shacks there. One of them has a Chinese sign right on the top to give you a sense of how close we're getting to the story here. I don't know what it says. Maybe somebody can translate that. And then this was a chance, finally Brett and I meet in person. That's Brett's son. Zach back there, great guy, 19 years old, does all the Dark Horse technology stuff, brought his full camera equipment. So we meet everybody. Here's some of the other people in the crew. You see Michael Jan back there, and we walk down to the river. And there it is. There's these boats, these long, skinny boats, which are basically dugout canoes with 15 horse motors on the back. So we get in these things, a variety of seats, either a plastic lawn chair. I got a chair roughly made out of some very hard wood that was shaped like a book. A book could have sat on this thing very comfortably. But anyway, that was my seat for the ride, which was long. It was a long boat ride. But so we get in these boats, and they leak. So I was the bailer on the back of this particular boat. That was my job because I was last guy back where the water tended to gather, and up we went. And it looked like this the whole way. It was just a river that was about as wide as you see on the right side as it would be on the left. So port and starboard, about that wide, and just various densities of jungle. Super dense or just dense. Those were the two densities, dense and super dense. Now, why did it take 4 hours to go up this? Because we had to go all the way up to here, which was Canaan up in Membrillo, and we got on about down here somewhere. And as you can see, I've just highlighted a little bit of this river, and you can see like this would have been very fast. The whole thing just very tortuous. Turn. We went up to this, split right here, and then the river got smaller up through this section. So we were fighting our way upriver. I did not realize it, but from here to where we got out, somebody had GPSed it, and we went up about 380 feet of elevation from there to there. It didn't feel like we were going up that much, but we were, and we had to get out at 4 separate spots to push because the motor, it was too shallow for the propeller to spin without breaking the propeller. And I think breaking your propeller 3 or 4 hours upriver would have been a bad idea. So that was what the trip was, back and forth, exquisite jungle, really amazing. That was the bailing device that I was using. It worked perfectly. It sort of snugged along the bottom of the boat. It's just mapped in there, just really nice. And on we went, upstream, until we finally get there. We hop out on a sandbank, walk through a short trail, and end up here. All of a sudden, ta-da! In the middle of nowhere is this camp that has sort of sprung up here. Camp Canaan, and there's a little bit of cement stuff there, little cement work, but for the most part, this is really rough, hands-on, not hands-on, but probably chainsaw sawn logs and tents and kind of temporary stuff, some steel, still ramshackle. Like here's an example of a place you see people have set up tents up top. There is malaria here, so sleeping outside of the night mosquitoes in a tent, very good idea. You can see also hanging here these life jackets. Now, when we were going up, the river was kind of low. We're in the beginning of the dry season. It was already dry enough because of El Nino to make it much lower. But apparently this river can really rage. There were, months before, there were a lot of drownings in that river as people were trying to cross it. So life jackets have become part of this path now. So why were we there? Well, we were there obviously because we wanted to go to the source and see, there's the source of this is wherever the people are coming from in the world. And they tend to come in through Quito, Ecuador, because there's no visa. So they can land there, get off a plane, don't have no visa requirements, and off you go. And then they come up through Colombia, or they're coming in through Brazil and up through Colombia, or they come to Colombia and then up. However it is, they're coming into South America and pouring up through the Darien Gap. And so this is where we went to, this Camp Canaan up in Membrillo, is one of the first places, no, not one of, it is the first place that some people are going to encounter when they come out of the jungle.